Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Detroit Metro Plug Podcast, episode number 62. Uh, Detroit Metro Plug Podcast, where connections matter. I'm your host, Charles McKay, and welcome to the live episode of episode number 62, Sunday, February the 12th. Thank you for those who are watching us live right now on YouTube or LinkedIn or on our Facebook business page, Detroit Metro Plug Podcast. Thank you. Happy Sunday to everyone. We're here outside of Detroit metro area, of course. It is a beautiful sunny February day. We got a lot of sun today, a little mild weather. So hopefully you guys are enjoying your Sunday afternoon. I know a lot of folks, including myself, are getting ready for partaking in the Super Bowl watch parties. So hopefully you guys have a safe evening. So I'm excited about our topic and guests for this evening. As you know, every week I bring you a difference maker in the area of community involvement and entrepreneurship and business expertise. So we have a great guest today and a great topic. So before we go into our guest and our topic for this evening, um, just a real quick announcement. As I shared last episode, um, I have an opportunity to serve as an ambassador for a great nonprofit in the city of Detroit called Black Leaders Detroit. So, just have a quick question for you. Are you looking to make an impact? Are you looking to become a hero in your community? If you answered yes to both of those, I invite you to join me and being a member of Black Leaders Detroit. All it takes is $1 a week, $1 a week, $52 a year, or $4.33 a month. You can have an impact on Black businesses in Detroit. If you're not already aware, they've given over $1 million to Black-owned businesses in the city of Detroit. And even now for Black History Month, they're giving small grants to nonprofits, and you may have seen them through the month of February. They're having a great impact with uh, with Black small nonprofits in the area of Detroit. So if you want to be a part of making an impact, all it takes is $1. I'm a member. Hopefully, you will become a member too. Let me share this quick video, and you will learn more about what they're doing.
Black Leaders Detroit, they knew that during the pandemic, that Black businesses were going to be left out of any type of funding that the government gave, and they wanted to make sure that they were able to figure out how they could step up and help. Because again, this is their community, and they want to make sure that their community is still here when this pandemic is over with. And the only way you can do that is by offering support to your community. And so they stepped up and they did that.
I've been telling everyone I know about Black Leaders Detroit. The things that they're doing is simply amazing. And they're taking care of business for the Black business owners.
It's $1 a week donation to keep this great thing moving. $1 a week keeps it popping. Black Leaders Detroit.
All right. As the lady said, $1 a week keeps it moving. $1 a week keeps it popping. So if you want to become a face of a hero, you want to be a hero. A face of a hero is you. You can support at blackleadersdetroit.org. Become a member. All it takes is $1. So excited about that. So encourage you to do that. Okay, so we're going to go into. I'm going to introduce our guests for this tonight's topic. Okay, so get the key to success. So, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest on our topic for this evening or this afternoon, uh, she has 20 years of experience in education, 20 years experience in workforce development, 20 years of experience in cultivating strategic business partnerships. She has extensive knowledge uh, with private and public sector work in education, human services, and city government. She helped to establish the Queen Collaborative. She's an author. She's going to talk about her book, author of The Study of Leadership Development, Self Efficiency and Career Readiness Among African American Women. She's also a member of the National Association of Women, Professional Women. Uh, she is also on the serves as on a I believe it's called Leadership Oakland County. She's a part of that organization.
Mhm.
She sits on the board of CDG and Associates. She also has a doctorate of education in leadership management from the great university, St. Thomas University, Miami, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our next guest and give a round of applause for Dr. Kordilia Noble.
Hey. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for having me on today.
Yes, I thank you for your time. I know you are a busy lady. Your hands are in various organizations. You are serving and giving your expertise in various areas. Before we go into specifically what you're doing and talk a lot about your book and the
Mhm.
programs you're involved in, we would like for you to share with our audience a little bit about yourself.
Mhm.
Just where you grew up, where you went to school, anything about your family, or anything you feel comfortable sharing.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much again for the opportunity to be a part of this wonderful podcast. It's a beautiful day in Detroit today, so we're just going to have a great time engaging today. So, a little bit about me. I am originally from the west side of the state, Muskegon, Michigan. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that area. It's such a small town, but it's near Grand Rapids, Michigan. So I was born and raised in Muskegon, Michigan. I graduated from Muskegon High School. I'm not afraid to say the class, even though I want people to still think that I'm only 25. But I graduated from the class of 1989. So I just wanted to say hello to my Ski Town family. All down, stay down. We know how that goes. So I'm originally from that area. And I moved over here to the Detroit area about 13 years ago because I wanted to experience more business opportunities and just more resources in general. As far as my background, I know you mentioned quite a bit with my bio, but again, I've have lots of experience in education. I work in workforce development sectors. I've also worked in human services, helping individuals become more sustainable, the families in reaching out within the communities. I've also worked as a legal secretary because at one point I wanted to go to law school. And just a little bit of an FYI, I took the LSAT for Cooley and missed their index by 2 points. So almost an attorney, but not quite. So, I've done quite a few things, working in local city government as a city clerk for some time. So I have a wealth of knowledge and information relative to my background and experience.
All right, awesome. We definitely are glad you're here. You bring a wealth of experience and knowledge. You mentioned a few things. You're born and raised and went to high school in Muskegon.
That's
Is that
correct.
correct? Okay, all right. I've been there before, but don't know too much about Muskegon. But you did say it's part of West Michigan, right?
Yes, that's
Okay, so
correct.
I'm a West Sider, so I guess I give
Yes.
you credit for being a West Sider. Yeah.
Yes, it's the West Side.
Okay, all right, all right. All right. So, how did you end up here in the Detroit area? Did you
Mhm.
was that later in your work life, or
It was later in my work life. I was just looking for, better opportunities. My hometown, Muskegon, it's a small community, small town,
yeah?
mainly for individuals who are in retirement mode.
Okay,
I wanted to branch off. I had lived there my entire life.
Okay.
All of my family is still there. My mother and my father resides there, as
All
well as
right.
my siblings. But I just wanted to experience something greater, and I knew that there was, something more for me to do.
Okay.
And without moving too far away from my parents, I said, Detroit is not too far. It's only 2.5 hour drive, so I can just shoot down and see them anytime. So Detroit was
Right.
the perfect location. And I will say I love it in Detroit. Love, love, love it in Detroit.
Okay.
So much to do, so much to see, so many places to shop because as women we love shopping. And so many places to eat. The
Yeah.
culture here, different
Yeah.
areas is just phenomenal, phenomenal. And I absolutely love Detroit.
All right. Awesome. We glad that you're here. So you started out in education or teaching or
I did. Well, originally, because, I wanted to go to law school, and I mentioned a little bit of that. I always had a dream of being an attorney. I wanted to be a corporate law attorney. For so many years, that was my dream. And I worked in the legal field for some time, worked as a legal secretary. And then I took the LSAT because, again, I wanted to go to law school, and I missed a Cooley's index by like 2 points.
wow.
And so I almost made it, but not quite.
Right. Right.
So then, I kind of changed my trajectory then, and I said, okay, well, maybe this is not where I'm supposed to be. So at that point, I began to look into the education field.
Okay.
And I applied for a position with Grand Valley State University. Are you familiar with that university at all?
Yes. Yes. In Grand Rapids. Yes.
In Grand Rapids, correct.
Hmm.
So I applied for an opportunity there to work with their legal counsel,
Okay.
still in that legal field, but it was in education. So I applied there to work with their legal counsel. And unfortunately, I was not a selected candidate for that role. However, because of my great background and experience and my credentials, and I interviewed very well, they offered me another position within the university.
Wow. Okay.
So that's how I got into education.
Wow.
And my first role was working with Upward Bound, working with
Wow.
high school students, helping
Wow.
them to become sustainable, helping them to learn what's required at the
Yes.
college level,
Yeah.
as high schoolers. They come to campus, they stay on campus like all through the summer. And, they even take college courses. And it's like a mentorship as well. So
Right.
that's
Right.
how I got into education. And
Wow.
I said, I love this. I love education. I
Wow.
love working with the students. I love the environment. And
Wow.
from that point on, I just continued to move forward in education. I worked in different departments.
Hmm.
Um, I've worked in the business services. I've worked, like I said, with Upward Bound. I worked with the dean's office. I even worked with the field house
Yeah.
at Grand Valley State University, and that was super fun.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's how I got my first opportunity in education.
Wow. Wow. What a great opportunity to have and have an impact on college students. Just want
Mhm,
to share a note. I got my start at Wayne State University. I graduated from Henry Ford High School, which is west
mhm,
side of Detroit.
mhm.
Shout out to all the Trojans out there who may be watching. Class of '91. Now, unfortunately, I'm just being honest. I didn't do as well as I should have
Mhm,
um, in school in my 4 years at Henry Ford. Got really serious in my 11th and 12th grade year. So my GPA wasn't that high, but um, Wayne State had a program similar to Upper Brown. Back then, it was called the Project 350.
mm,
I think they may have Upper Brown. They had a Cesar Chavez program. Basically, it
mhm,
was a bridge program.
mhm,
You
mhm,
started school in the summer. You had to take classes to strengthen your writing skills, communication, math, all
mhm,
that kind of stuff. And you
mhm.
had mentors. And so that
Yes.
program was a life changer for me because
Mhm.
it really helped me get ready for college and academic life, which is totally different.
It
It
is.
was a big adjustment.
Mhm, mhm.
I wasn't ready. But thank God for programs like Up at Brown to help
Yes,
me get ready for college.
yes.
And so thank you for having an opportunity to have an impact on college kids.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and you know, it's that structure and that mentorship that really helps the young people be successful, you know, in their lives. So not only, you know, with their education, but in their personal lives as well.
Right.
Because you know, a lot of students who go through these different programs, you know, they have those different they have different challenges that they're dealing with. So, you know, being able to have that type of structure and support system is huge. It's definitely a
Right.
blessing for those young people.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you took your knowledge and your experience working at the university, and you become elected as a city clerk, or?
No, it was not an elected position. It
Oh,
was
okay.
yeah, it was an appointed position,
Okay.
and I was working at Grand Valley State University for almost 10 years there. And
Yeah.
from my hometown, it was probably about an hour drive.
Okay.
And you know, at that time, I had small children at home, and you know, being married and things of that nature. You know, I wanted to be a little bit closer to home.
Okay.
So when that position became available as a city clerk in the city of Muskegon Heights, I applied for that.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
you know, because I would have been in my hometown
Right.
versus
Right. Right.
traveling an hour, well, 2 hours essentially, an
Okay.
hour there, an hour back every day. You know, I just wanted to be closer, you know, closer to home, closer to my children, you know, making
Okay.
sure that they're getting to their, you know, football trainings
Right.
and
Right. Right. Right.
soccer and doctor's appointments, all of those good things. So I applied for the position with the city of Muskegon Heights, and out of probably about 50 applicants, I was
Wow.
selected for that role. So
Wow. What a blessing.
did very well there in that role as a city clerk, working with local city government. Local city government, it's a different beast.
Hmm.
You know, when you're working with public officials, you know, and the council, you know, things of that nature. So, but I
Okay.
enjoyed it there.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, when you first mentioned, I wasn't sure, because like in bigger cities, like in Detroit, you
Mhm.
have to run for an election,
You
and also in
do.
some local smaller cities, like maybe in Southfield or whatever.
Correct.
There's different
Correct.
you have to run. Yeah. Okay.
Correct. And with this being a smaller city, you know,
Right.
there
Right.
was no election, things of nature. It was a regular interview process,
Right.
and then you're voted on by the council,
Right.
um,
Right.
and you're appointed to that role.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So you
Mhm.
have 10 years experience working at Grand Valley University. Then you had
Correct.
this opportunity with the city clerk's office in Muskegon.
Correct.
What was some
Correct.
of the leadership skills you learned in both of those positions?
Oh my goodness. You know, both of those roles were supervisory roles, you know, even working at Grand Valley State University, and all of the roles that I held there were supervisory roles. And then also working as a city clerk was also a manager role as well. So in regards to leadership skills that I gained, definitely communication, you know, learning how to talk to people
Hmm.
is very important when you're dealing
Yes.
with the public.
Yes.
You know, so that's one of the very important skills that I learned. Time management, because you in a supervisory role, you're juggling multiple hats, multiple projects, you know, multiple things. So you have to know how to manage your time
Hmm.
efficiently in order for you to be effective, you know, in your job.
Okay.
And definitely, you know, having a level of integrity with working with the city council, you know, being able to, you know, keep things confidential, you know, because when you're working with local city government, you know, there are a lot of things that happen, you know,
Right.
behind those doors that, you know, you must keep things confidential. And, you know, being the gatekeeper of the city, that was one of my duties, and one of the things that I definitely took pride in. So I
Okay.
would definitely say, you know, communication skills being key. I would also say, you know, as I mentioned, time management, very important. And also, you know, just being a
Right.
leader, because when you're in those supervisory roles, you have individuals that are looking up to you.
Right.
You know, they're looking up to you. They're looking for guidance. They're looking for mentorship. They're looking for answers to their problems. So
Okay.
being able to be that type of leader and individual who can relate with others,
Mhm.
and to the point to where others feel comfortable engaging with you, and that's very important when you are a
Right.
boss, when you are a supervisor,
Okay.
having that open door policy, where individuals feel comfortable talking to you. That's key.
Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
because that allows to for you to be able to have a specific type of culture, where individuals feel like they're important.
Right. Right. Right.
They feel like they're
Yes.
important. They feel like they're heard.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
when you have those types of individuals within your organization, and you have that open door policy, those individuals are really going to be vested in their position.
Okay. Yes, you're right. Awesome.
Mhm.
So, just hearing your story, so your journey, you're working at the University, Grand Valley University,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then you have an opportunity to serve city council, and you gain these leadership skills.
Mhm.
What led you to your journey to pursue higher education? You have a doctorate in
Mhm.
leadership management from
I do.
St. Thomas University. Yeah.
I do.
What was that all about? Yeah.
I actually, once I completed my master's degree, um,
Was
you
that at
know,
Grand Valley or somewhere else?
I completed my master's degree. I completed my associate's, bachelor's, and master's degree through Baker College.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Shout
I
out to
went to
Baker
Baker
College.
College. Yep.
Yeah.
So I graduated, I had 3 degrees through Baker College. And then my doctoral degree was St. Thomas University, which is in Miami, Florida. So after I completed my master's degree, I said I was done. That was it. I didn't
Right.
want to
Right.
go any further, with my education.
Right.
And my mother inspired me to continue my education. And she would just say, hey, you have like one level, just go ahead and get your doctoral degree and then you'll be finished. And, and she made it sound so easy. She
Yeah.
made it
Yeah.
sound so easy. And she reminded me that, when I graduated with my associate level degree and we were at the graduation ceremony, and when I saw all of the professors and directors walk in with their hoods on, regalia,
Right.
I said, then I want one of those.
All right. You
I
want one of
want
those
one.
hoodies?
I want one of those hoods. Now, many years later, I had forgotten I had even said that.
Right. Right.
Okay. But of course, that was one of the things that my mother reminded me of.
Right.
She says, do you remember? She says, when you got your associate's degree, you said you wanted one of those hoods.
One of those
I
hoods.
said,
Yeah.
I said, you remember that? She says, yes, I remember that. So,
Wow.
she reminded me of what I said. And, I really admire my
Mhm.
mother, love my mother dearly. And, if there is nothing more that I can do for the woman who gave me life,
Yes.
I want to be able to give her at least one doctor.
All right.
So
All
I
right.
said, okay, I'm going to go back, get my doctoral degree, and then we'll see, how things go from there. So
Now, were you with city government at that time, or you were doing something different?
no, I was back into education.
Okay.
I was working. Well, by that time, I had relocated here to Detroit.
Okay.
And during my time here in Detroit, I've worked at Oakland County, OCC.
Okay.
Yep, I worked at Oakland Community College. I worked at the Baker College here in Allen Park.
Okay.
As well. So I was back in education.
Back in education. Okay.
I had also worked in K through 12 sector.
Okay.
Working with high school students relative to their career progression,
Yes.
making sure that they have skills and the knowledge that they needed to be successful after graduation.
Mhm.
So I was still in education.
Okay.
So when my mother said, just go back and just get your doctoral degree, I said, okay, Mom, I'll go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and do that for you.
All right. All right. All right. Thank you, Mom, for pushing your daughter to
Yes,
greater
thank you,
excellence.
Mom. And
So let's.
ironically, when I actually finished the program of the doctoral degree, you have to do a defense, which means that you go before, all of the board chairs, and
Yeah.
could also be other faculty within the institution, and
Yes.
you present or you defend your topic, to these individuals. And it just so happens that the date for my defense fell on my mother's birthday.
Wow. Wow. I think that deserves some air horns.
Yes,
Yes.
it
Shout
fell
out
on
to your
my
mom.
mother's birthday. And
Wow. What a birthday
so
gift to your mom.
yes, it was a wonderful birthday gift. So,
Yes.
the day that I officially became Dr. Noble was on my mother's birthday.
Wow. What a
It was
blessing.
on my
Yes.
mother's birthday. Yes. So I knew that I was doing the right thing then. When it fell on my mother's birthday, I'm like, okay, I knew I was doing the right thing.
Now let's go into, so you're prompted by your mom, and it was destiny for you to finish the higher level of education with your doctorates in education and leadership management. So I'm assuming with your education, your work experience, that was the groundwork for your book entitled Leadership Development. Oh, Study of Leadership Development.
Yep.
Yes. So is that fair to say that your life's work and your education, your academic preparation was the groundwork for your book?
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I mentioned before, I have a long history, in careers and in different positions that I've held. And based upon my experiences in those roles, I know we talk a lot about the glass ceiling effect and, career progression, things of that nature. And although, I held those higher level positions throughout my career, I've always wanted to advance to higher levels.
Okay.
And what I found was that even though I had the background, I had the experience, I had, wonderful credentials, even applying for those roles, I was not selected for those positions.
Wow.
And, I kept asking why, why is this happening? And at one point, I even thought that maybe it was something wrong with me, because society would make you believe that, because you don't have these certain skill sets, or, you're not good enough for this role, those types of things. It makes you think that there's something wrong with you.
Right, right.
So what I began to do after that is I began to meet with some other colleagues, both male and female, and just, talk to them about their career progression and what they experienced. And what I found was that specifically for Black women, we are seen differently relative to career progression. And because of that, I said, hey, somebody needs to write about this.
Wow.
This is information that needs to be shared, with the public in regards to, what are some things that are preventing Black women from reaching career success? And that's what my book entails. I talk about leadership development opportunities. I talk about needing mentorship. I also talk about having those professional development opportunities as well. All of these things are very important and key to Black women. And specifically because Black women are the most disadvantaged compared to any other ethnicity. They're the most disadvantaged, So because of that, that became my focus, with me being a Black woman, with me experiencing these things throughout my career, and with me doing my own little small research before writing the book, I found out that I wasn't the only one who was experiencing these things.
All right, this is very interesting. So, you looked at your own personal career progression, and you found that you kind of hit a ceiling, or there wasn't opening.
Exactly.
And that was the seed to your book. Now, when you did your research, did you what patterns did you begin to see, specifically among professional Black women?
Well, I, as part of my research, I recruited Black women to interview for my book, which is also indicated in my book. And I interviewed probably about 20 Black women from all over, not just in Detroit, not just in my hometown, but like all over, nationwide. And they all experience the same thing. And, I didn't know this other young lady from Adam, but she's experiencing the exact same thing that I'm experiencing.
Okay.
And because of that, I thought that it was this is something that's very important. It's something that's key. The information to get out there to the community, and not only for Black women, but for employers as well.
Okay.
For those employers who are interested in supporting their DEI initiatives, for those employers that are interested in supporting, Black women or women in general within their organizations, these are some things that they need to do. And those things are indicated in my book.
All right. You mind sharing? What are some of the key things that companies can do to fulfill? A lot of companies at this point, due to what was going on in society, whether it was George Floyd or whatever, you see a lot of diversity and inclusion initiatives. And so what companies, what do they need to do? What do you recommend them to do to hit their marks?
Well, one thing I will definitely recommend is, having those professional development opportunities available for women of color. Simply because, sometimes women are lacking in certain skills. They're lacking in certain abilities. And, they are vested within the organization. Those companies should also return and invest in their employees as well and provide those professional development or even those leadership development opportunities that will help those women be able to move up the ladder. And that's key. That's key. And not only that, but, I always say that to support their DEI initiatives, they really need to have a DEI officer on board, within their organization, someone who's not just going to mark a box. Okay. Someone that's really going to say, hey, we have this DEI initiative. We don't want to just check mark a box. We want to be fully and wholly transparent and really make sure that we're meeting the needs of these other ethnicities. That's key, because a lot of times organizations can talk about DEI, but implementation is a whole different ballgame. It looks good on paper.
What is some of the professional development or leadership development that you see that companies are not doing or should do that will help people in their career progression?
Well, some different professional development opportunities. It could be something as little as getting training in certain software.
Okay.
Certain software they might be lacking in.
Okay.
I know that I'm not all that proficient in Excel as I should be. I'm not an Excel guru, but if there is an opportunity that they have available that requires Excel, why not offer that as a professional development? To be able to help that person, pretty much broaden their skill sets so that way they can be qualified for that role.
Okay.
Within the organization. And that's just something that's basic, a software training. That's very basic. Software
training. Okay. Okay. That's a good example. Any other areas you think is lacking or you would recommend for?
Well, let's see. Software training with something that would be good. I would also say a training on communication or learning how to communicate.
Okay.
And having those, what do you call those, social and people skills?
Okay. Soft skills. Okay.
Soft skills.
Yeah.
Soft skills. That's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge. Having those soft skills and knowing how to communicate, with individuals, especially if you're planning on if you would like to move up the ladder. Someday you might be responsible for other individuals in a supervisory role.
Okay.
And because of that, you'll need to know how to communicate, to be a supervisor, to be a leader. What do leaders do?
Right.
Consider some of those things.
Okay.
What do leaders do throughout their day? How do they engage with their team members?
Right,
what do they need to do to cultivate an environment where their employees want to be their best?
Right, right. Okay.
So those are some basic things that employers should do in order to support their employees that are interested in elevating within their organization.
Okay. What do you say to those who maybe give your research or your book pushback, saying that, minorities or women of color are getting opportunities in the private sector or public sector? What would you say to them?
I would say to them, read my book. I've got facts in here. I'm not making this stuff up.
Okay. Okay.
There's all facts in here and everything is cited properly. So of course you're always going to have individuals who are saying, we feel that within our organization that they are getting the opportunities that they need in order to be successful. But they are saying that as an organization, are you polling the women within your organization and asking them, do they feel that way? And 9 times out of 10, I would probably guess that they don't feel that way.
Okay.
And if there is an issue there, then that's something that needs to be addressed by the organization.
Right.
Because their view might be different from their employees' view.
Okay. Now you did was it 30 women? How many women did you interview for your book?
I did almost 20 women for
20
my
women.
book.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what did the data reveal to you that was very, like, wow, this is a very serious issue?
Yes. Well, one of the main things that my data did reveal was that the importance of mentorship for Black women is paramount.
Okay.
Black women need mentors. We need individuals to show us the ropes, show us what we need to do, provide that structure for us. Because a lot of times when we don't have those mentors in those professional places, we don't have anyone who can speak for us.
Right.
And what's even more difficult is a lot of times, for Black women, sometimes we are hesitant to speak up and say that we need assistance, we need help. Right. We need a mentor. You can have a mentor that's within the organization, or you can have someone that's outside of the organization that really wants to invest, in your well-being and see you elevate to those higher levels. So mentorship is key, for all women, not only for career progression, but just for life in general.
Okay. Do you know of any organizations that's good for women of color that could be that professional mentorship, or there's still a need? And I guess that may be a good segue to the Queen Collaborative. Is that what is that a mentor organization? Or talk a little bit about that.
It is. And honestly, right off the top of my head, I can't think of any specific organizations that would, specifically have that program for mentoring, so on and so forth. However, my Queen Collaborative program was derived from my book and wanting to do more for women of color, wanting to really to pour into them and help them be successful in their careers and life in general. Throughout the pandemic, when the pandemic started in 2020, a lot of women left their jobs for various reasons. It could have been because of childcare, because of course, a lot of the schools were closed and they didn't have proper childcare. It could have been that, they found out that their organization wasn't as supportive of them as an employee as what they had thought from the beginning. So there's been a lot of transition, throughout the pandemic, and the media coins it as the Great Resignation. Right. Because a lot of individuals did leave their jobs. But what they do not share is that, yes, individuals left their jobs, but they went on to better jobs that better serve them and their families. That's the information that they're not sharing with the general public. And I would also say that it isn't just the Great Resignation. I call it the Great Refocus. Right. It's the Great Refocus for all women, because now women are repurposing their energy and their skills into other things that are going to benefit their families, that's going to allow them to leave a legacy for their families that they did not receive from those previous employers that they left. So one of the ways that they're doing that now is through entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And, one thing that I always say that really came out of the pandemic is, unfortunately, we did lose a lot of lives throughout the pandemic, and, God bless their souls. But we also, there was a lot of innovation that came out of the pandemic as well.
Yes.
Individuals had to sit down and really think about their lives. Everyone had time to really sit down and really ponder their lives and what they want to do with their lives. What do you really want out of life? What do you really want, for your children? What type of legacy do you want to leave? Definitely through the pandemic. So there was a lot of innovation that came out of that. And there was a lot of increased skill sets that came out of the pandemic. And as I stated before, coming from my book, I wanted to do something a little bit more for Black women.
Okay.
And I said, entrepreneurship is the way to go.
Okay.
So I said, I want to do something a little bit more. I want to have a program for Black women that's going to highlight the basic principles of entrepreneurship and leadership, which also provides that mentorship component that I write about in my book.
Okay.
And that's how that started.
Oh, wow. Did this start out of the pandemic? Was that in 2020 or 2021 or?
Mm-hmm. It actually started originally in 2020. I am a graduate of Leadership Oakland. Okay. I'm not for sure if you're familiar with Leadership Oakland, but they do like professional development within Oakland County. Mm-hmm. So I went through that organization and I graduated from there. And throughout that program, I said, there has to be something more that I can do relative to Black women. So once I finished, with Leadership Oakland, graduated from that program, I went to their director then and I said, hey, I have this idea, entrepreneurship and leadership program for Black women. Would you like to hear about it? And they said, absolutely. Because they're always interested in adding new programming, to their offerings. Yeah. And definitely with it being more catered towards women of color, it was more, it was more of an exciting initiative for them because this is something they've never done before. This is the first ever in Oakland County. So I went through a process of, making a proposal to their board. And it went through a 2-year process of review, so on and so forth. And once it went through that process, they approved it. And that's how I originally started. So, I worked with Leadership Oakland on the marketing. The actual speakers that I have in my program are all of my dear friends and colleagues. Okay. I told them that I have this concept that I would like to do for Black women and, women of color in general. Right. And I gave them a little snippet about it. And I said, I think that you would be wonderful to participate in this initiative, speaking on this specific topic based upon your background and experience. And when I asked them, would they participate? They said, for you, yes, we will do it. So all of the women that you see on the roster there are all of my wonderful friends and colleagues. And I'm just very, very grateful and thankful that they can also see the vision for this, program and, really see how it's going to make a positive impact within the community for Black women. And so we had our fall session this past fall. We had 11 women, which was our first cohort. And the program was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. So much information was shared during the Queen Collaborative. It became more like a camaraderie, amongst the women. They didn't want to end at 6 weeks. They did not want to end at 6 weeks. But, I'm so glad that they were able to, get the basic information that they needed for their entrepreneurship pursuits. And, I was able to pour into those women and add some jewels to their crowns. So we're also looking forward to the spring session of the Queen Collaborative. That session will take place April 20th through May 25th, 2023. It is a virtual session. I did want to make it virtual so that way it makes it easier for women to be able to log on and access the course anywhere. And the takeaways from the program, of course, gain knowledge from experts in the field. So the caliber of women who are on this panel, you will not find in one setting anywhere. So as I stated, gain knowledge from experts in the field, mentorship opportunity from these women, as well as a certificate of completion. And I do have a flyer here, which I know that you'll also put up on your webpage as well, which I appreciate that. But just to give you a little bit of information regarding the speakers who will be on the roster for the spring session. Of course, myself, I will be there as the host. And then we have Joycelyn Giagrande. She's going to talk about Mindset Matters in week 1. She is a renowned author and a DEI strategist, just fabulous. We also have The Beginning, which is Renate Matthews. She is a business instructor, and she provides a lot of information in regards to getting your business started. We also have in week 3, marketing strategies. You'll learn all things about marketing your business. And that will be presented by Tisha Hammond. A lot of you might be familiar with Tisha Hammond. She is the small business cheerleader. And then we also have Let's Get Legal, because we know it's important to make sure that you have all of your legal documents in order for your business as well. And that session is taught by attorney April McKee. We also have week 5, which is I Need Money, because of course we know that, when you're starting a business, you need funding. You need to sometimes figure out how you're going to get things started and rolling. So I Need Money by Nicole Freeman Kirkland. She is an accountant, so she can provide that information for you as well. And then for week 6, we're going to wrap everything up with Camille Jamerson. She's going to say, okay, let's do it. With everything that you've learned thus far throughout these last 5 weeks, now what are your next steps? How are we going to pull all this together to make sure that you're successful with your business? And Camille Jamerson is with CJ and Associates. And then we also have Self-Care for Entrepreneurs with Angela T. Moore. So she is wonderful. She is going to make sure that even throughout all this process of your entrepreneurship journey, that you're still able to take care of yourself and, do some of that self-care as well throughout the process.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly fine.
I'm having some technical difficulties with my camera.
Oh, no.
So this is the first time it happened. So I don't know, just technology.
Yes.
So as you shared a lot of information. So I want to let people know about how do they get access to your book and who is your book for?
Yes. So again, my book is for the employer who wants to know how to support Black women within their organizations, relative to their DEI initiatives. My book is also for, the Black woman, for those women who want to know what they need to work towards in order to be success within their career. And then I also have here mentioned on the back of my book that, it's written for the CEO, it's written for the manager, the bus driver, the professor, it's written for the cashier, the nurse, the sister, it's written for the mother, the uncle, the friend, and the like, and for anyone who's interested in the upward mobility of mankind. So that is who this book is for. There's great information within this book, not only for the Black woman, but for the employer as well. And any individuals who's interested in upward mobility.
Okay, all right. I got my camera fixed. Well,
Yes,
my backup camera. No, this technology is something else. All
it
right,
is.
but we managed through. So you
Mhm.
told who it's for. How can they get your book?
They can been available on Amazon.
Okay.
So they can go to Amazon and they can type in my name, which is Dr. Noble, Kordilia Noble, and the book will come up. They can order it through Amazon, or they can reach out to me personally by email, and they can order a book from me where they would receive an authored copy, because
Okay.
I know a lot of times people likes the, they like the signature and things of that nature. They like the author copy. So I provide the author copies, and they can reach out to me via email, and my email address is Dr. Dr. Kordilia 15 @gmail.com. And then, of course, you have there on the screen my LinkedIn as well. So if any of you would love to connect with me, to partner on different initiatives, or just to be my friend, because I'm a nice person, I don't bite.
Yeah.
Just want to connect with me to to partner with different initiatives, or, I post a lot about Black women and inspiration and, things of that nature. I'm all about positivity and supporting, so if you're into that kind of thing, then would be great colleagues. And then, of course, I'm on Detroit Book City as well. You can check out my author page there. And also, that's another method for you to order my book, because there is a link on the bottom there to where you can order my book if you go to the Detroit Book City website.
All right. There you have it. So they have the ways that they can connect with you on LinkedIn, Detroit Book City, email, and then we also threw up your Twitter for those who are
Yes.
Twitter.
Yes.
You touched a little bit about it. So how can if someone's interested in the Queen Collaborative, how do they get involved with that? Do they reach you through those?
Yes, they can reach out to me. There is a registration.
Okay.
So it's just a Google Doc, just to
Okay.
get a little bit of basic information.
Right.
Nothing major. So there is a registration, and the cost to participate is $199.
Okay.
So it's $199. I wanted to keep that feasible as well.
Right.
But yeah, it's a great program, a great opportunity. So I will be posting more about this on my LinkedIn page as well. I've already been advertising, but I have been posting about my book as well, because I'm doing some author book signings also.
Okay.
So I invite individuals to come out to those, because they'll get a chance to meet me. They can purchase a book, enjoy some refreshments, and then they can also get the information about the Queen Collaborative as well. Okay. So
who's the ideal person for the Queen Collaborative?
Ideal person in regards to
for the program, who would
for the program itself?
Yes.
It would be any individual who's interested in entrepreneurship and leadership.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Any individual who's interested in
any women, because it's geared towards women. It's geared towards women.
Okay.
Yeah, it's geared towards women who are interested in entrepreneurship and leadership. And if you're interested in growth and mentorship, it's just it's a great opportunity.
Any closing announcements or upcoming events you'd like to share with our audience?
Yes, I would love to share with Detroit that I will be at Detroit Book City on the 24th of February from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And they are located at 27260 Southfield Road in Lathrop Village. So I will be there for author meet and greet and book signing. So if you wanted to purchase a book, you can purchase a book there at the author meet and greet and book signing as well. And I will also be at the Black History Book Fair from noon to 5 on the 25th of February. So I've got two events back to back on the 24th at Detroit Book City, and then on the 25th at the Black History Book Fair from noon to 5. And that location is 3158 South Wayne Road in Wayne, Michigan. And it's at a location that's called Tees. So,
Wow.
So I'm going to be there as well.
What's the date on that one again?
On the second one, Black History Book Fair, is February 25th.
February 25th, okay.
Yes, from noon to 5. And it's at 3158 South Wayne Road.
Okay.
Wayne, Michigan. It's at Party with a T. Yep, Party with a T is where it's located. So, yeah, so two opportunities. It's Black History Month, for individuals to come out and support, get a chance to meet myself and enjoy some refreshments. And of course, if you're interested in a book, definitely come out and do that as well. I will say just a couple more things. For those 5 first attendees who attend the book signings, I give a free gift. For those first 5 attendees with a book purchase. So because I know we always like free stuff. So, I won't have like chicken or fish dinners or anything. But, I'm not selling chicken or fish dinners. I'm selling knowledge.
All right.
Okay, so I always give a free gift. So, for all of those individuals that come out just to show my appreciation. Yeah. And then also on the 25th at the Black History Book Fair, I will be doing a raffle. So individuals can join the raffle and win a free registration for the Queen Collaborative Spring Session.
Yes.
So that's going to be exciting as well. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in detail on LinkedIn, things of that nature. But yeah, so that's another exciting thing that's happening on the 25th at the Black History Book Fair.
Okay, that's great. Awesome. So those who are watching live, we want to encourage you to follow Dr. Noble on her social media handles that we put on the slide there, and also support her by going to those book fairs. 2 opportunities in the month of February. It's funny you mentioned about fish dinners or something like that. I noticed in your bio you said you cook vegan meals. I thought, are you a vegan or pescatarian or something?
I am. The funny thing is I started off as a vegan about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And from that point, maybe in the last 6 months or so, I started doing like a little bit of pescatarian. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'm only doing salmon. So.
Okay. So I moved to the not total plant-based, but pescatarian, even though I attend a Baptist church. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
we're doing fish.
So just for better health.
Yes.
Better health. Yes, and it's been a wonderful journey with the veganism, and I learned so much. Plant-based, it's just amazing what it does to your body.
Yes,
and it's just amazing. But I just wanted to add a little bit more protein, into my diet. So I kind of, transitioned over to a little bit of salmon. So
okay. All right. So I just want to thank you for your time and sharing your expertise, your journey. Wish you the best with your initiatives and your book.
Thank you so much.
I've seen some of your social media sites. You've been out talking about your book, connecting with women.
Yes.
And, you're doing great work. And our platform is about celebrating the contributions of African Americans in the Detroit area and to celebrate what you guys are doing and to give you your flowers. And that's what the whole point of this platform is, to celebrate you and to create a platform where you could share about what you're doing and just have a positive energy. And I just want to celebrate you and what you're doing, particularly helping women of color in the entrepreneurial leadership journey.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I receive my flowers when I see Black women achieving success. That's
Okay.
my flowers.
All right. All right. All right. So, the last thing I always ask our guests: any influential book or person that has helped to shape your journey?
Oh my goodness. So many, so many, so many books. Um, well, one book that I read very often, which is very good for entrepreneurs, Tisha Hammond is actually on my panel for the Queen Collaborative, and I'm a very spiritual person as well. So her book, relative to devotional for entrepreneurs or season to grow, that is an absolute fantastic book for those individuals who are ready to grow, but also want to do it like in a spiritual way. In a spiritual way. So, the daily devotional has some really, really great reads in here. So I would recommend this book to any individual who's interested in devotion and prayer and entrepreneurship, and all of those great things.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks again for your time and your contributions to the Detroit metro area.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, yes. All right, folks. So that concludes our broadcast for tonight. Hopefully, you guys gained a lot of knowledge. I was taking notes myself on my path for because I've experienced some limitations in my own professional development. So I've took some notes, and so I want to thank you those again who joined us live on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. And if you found value in what we're doing, I want to encourage you to subscribe and like our YouTube channel or follow us on Facebook at Detroit Metro Plug Podcast. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week with a Detroit Difference Maker. Actually, tomorrow, I have a special guest tomorrow, Artist Spotlight. So you definitely want to tune in tomorrow, 8 p.m. We're going live again. We're focusing on a Detroit-bred singer-songwriter right here. She's debuting one of her songs, so we're going to spotlight her and celebrate her contributions to the city. Until next time, I'll see you guys next week.